Hello everyone, it's been a while, and I just wanted to be honest about what's been going on, why I've stopped making content, what's next for me and my channel, and just give you a bit of an insight on everything that's been going on. So the main thing really is I have needed to take a bit of a break. Due to burnout, I've been creating MMORPG content for years, and somewhere along the way, I really stopped enjoying playing video games. That's just kind of what's happened. So something really had to change. I need to step away and just kind of think about things and just take a bit of a break, really. So the way I got to this point, really, I was working for an MMORPG studio, which is a job that I gained last year. And I've been working for this company, creating video content, doing voiceover work and things like that. And that job came to an end just before the summer this year. Now, this was a fantastic experience for me, seeing how an MMORPG is created and built behind the scenes. We saw games launch and things like that. It was a great experience, and I've gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of insight into things that happen, and got to contribute towards that game as well, which was absolutely amazing. But this kind of did also help towards that burnout. There was a lot of pressure involved. Obviously, it's very tiring. It gives very little free time, and you're always kind of having to think about content and what's going to be created next, and how can you make it better? How can you improve? How can you meet these deadlines? So I've been kind of living and breathing MMOs for such a long time that by the time that job ended, I just didn't want to log into any MMOs anymore. I didn't really play any MMORPG at all. I was fully burnt out. And when something you kind of love turns into something you have to do as like a necessity, it really stops being fun. And that's the point that I've kind of reached with gaming and MMORPGs. Now, looking to a more of a broader kind of area, the MMORPG scene as a whole, I do feel quite, there's a disillusionment for me in like the whole genre. So it's tough watching games closing down and seeing projects come to an end. Games that I've poured hundreds of hours into just fade away. And it does make me question, where is the MMORPG genre going? So things like New World, Tarisland, even on a lesser scale, Wayfinder, games that I've put time into, I've spent lots of hours creating content and making videos, for them to either change direction or stop development or close down altogether, it's really sad. And like I say, it just gives me this like disillusion of like, is it worth it when that content becomes completely worthless after all that time spent making it? And then when we think about The Elder Scrolls Online, this is a game that I've loved for a decade, and I've loved the Elder Scrolls series as a whole for even longer than that. I've been playing it since I was a kid, and it's really part of my gaming DNA. The main thing that's turned me away from ESO is purely having done everything. Now, I know some people continue playing even when they have completed everything, they've done everything, they still play. I didn't quit because I hate the game. After 10 years, I've done it all. It's hard to chase things, it's hard to be motivated when you've seen everything and you've done everything in the game. That last goal, sometimes when you achieve that last thing that you're doing, that just was the end of it for me. Like, I've just simply done everything. And it was at the end of like doing all the dungeon trifectas, that was kind of the last thing I really did in the game, was completed the final dungeon trifecta, and then I just didn't log back in because there wasn't really a reason to anymore. Like, there's been a lot of times throughout the years where I've been really hooked on the game. It's dragged me back in. There's been lots of things happening, and I don't just want to play purely because I need to make content. I want to play it because I want to play it and I want to enjoy it again. So at this point, I am taking a break from ESO. It's not going to be forever. I've taken breaks in the past, but I just need to get that motivation to play again, that joy of like really playing it. So in the future, I'll definitely hop back into ESO, but at the current time, it's more the fact that I just did run out of things to do, and I wouldn't want to like log back in and just do a new dungeon. Once I've got like a lot of content to do, maybe it'll be the thing that really gets me motivated to log in and really try again. So even though I have felt burnt out with gaming and MMOs and content creation, the thing that really drove me into making content in the first place was helping people and creating a space for tanks and teaching and sharing. And a lot of the reason behind that was because there was a lot of gatekeeping, especially in ESO back in the day. It was really hard when you used to go along and ask someone like, oh, what skills do I need for this trial, or how do I do this? No one was willing to really share that. And that's what inspired the creation of the Tank Club. It wasn't for views, it wasn't for clicks, it wasn't to make a living. It was purely to just help people. And somewhere along the line, I did lose a little bit of that simplicity of just creating content to be helpful. And I want to head back to that more simplistic approach. The core of my content hasn't changed. It's just kind of been buried underneath the grind and the chase for needing to do more. Right now, I've realised the Tank Club isn't just about games. It's about community. It's about collaboration. It's about supporting each other and helping the community, regardless of which MMO it is. If you strip everything else away, I just love helping people get better at tanking in MMORPGs. Now, my kind of vision for the Tank Club for a couple of years now has been this dream to build a hub for all tank players across all MMORPGs. And the big reason for that is because the content often doesn't exist, it's very outdated, people don't put enough focus into it, and so I've always wanted to create somewhere where you've got all these builds, all this information, all these guides to help tanks across all the games. And the thing is, this is too big of a task for one person. I would really love to collaborate with other people, whether that's creators, players, community members, guide writers, whoever it is. I would love to collaborate and build that dream. Create the Tank Club as the home for tank players across MMOs, no matter which one it is. But it's just not something that one person can build. So I would like to make those collaborations and work together to be able to create more content for more games and give people all the help they need to just be better. And the thing is, one of the big focal points behind that is people who criticise tanks, and the level of tanking in many games just isn't up to the standard that other players expect. So by teaching people and bringing that standard up, it helps everyone to have a more enjoyable game, which is what I just love to do. The big thing with content creation is trying to balance that life and work balance. And I do have to split my time between being a parent. I'm a single father with 3 children. They go to school, they have clubs, they have all this stuff. And that's something that I have to spend my time doing. Bringing up 3 kids solo is not easy, especially when you're trying to be a full-time content creator as well. So that is just part of the package. Back in lockdown when I first became a creator, this is why it was so much easier back then. I was streaming every day, making videos, making content, had all the time in the world. But now my kids are out doing all those things. That's where my time needs to go as a priority. But that just means now content creation needs to fit around life rather than replace it. So what's next for me and the Tank Club? So the main thing really is I am playing and exploring MMOs again. I've had that little break. Now I'm excited to kind of play again, but I am going to take it slow. I don't want to get burnt out again. So that's kind of where I'm at. I do plan on making smaller, more enjoyable videos, trying new things. I want to reignite that fun before we dive back into going into all these detailed tank builds and guides and spending hundreds of hours building things to figure things out. But I do promise to make that authentic content. I'm not going to force uploads out because I need to. That's really where the most important thing is. I'm definitely not done with MMOs. I'm just trying to fall back in love with gaming, with MMOs. And that's like the main priority. And then you'll see more from me after that. So I just wanted to let you guys know this isn't the end of the Tank Club. We're just going to start the next phase and we're going to see where we can take things moving into the future. But I am excited to bring you new content, to enjoy gaming, to help people along the way. And I hope you will follow me along on that journey into the future. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.